Hello and welcome to another edition of Around the Ice, a hockey podcast here on Fantasy and Frames. I'm your host, JT, along with my boys, Toast and Aaron Tomatich. Good to have you guys back. Let's get into it quick here. We're on an early show here on Wednesday. Once we get into the end of the winter here, we kind of throw around the schedule a little bit. So might be throwing some people off here as we're usually on Tuesday nights, on Wednesdays now in the Wednesday schedule. We kind of jump around on time. So it's kind of when we can fit it in here. Join us later tonight for Shoot the Gap. We're going to do an end of the year recap, IDP recap of the show. And we get to see somebody get a pie to the face, whoever lost on the sack lunch challenge. It ain't going to be me. I'm telling you that. So we're going to see someone with a pie to the face tonight. So check us out later on. That is going to be 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 Central time. So make sure to stick around later tonight for that here on Fantasy and Frames. Four games tonight, fellas. Let's get into some betting action.
Where's my money? Where's my money? You gonna give me my money? Where's my money, man?
All right, so we got one game kicking off right now as we speak. The early game of the 6 o'clock Devils versus the Kraken. 6:30 games. We got Sabres at home against the Flyers, Rangers at home against the Sens, and one late night tilt tonight. Kings at home against the Gold Knights. Toast, what are you feeling tonight? We've been all over it. We've been close on some bets. We've hit some bets lately, knocking some stuff down. It's been pretty good of late. What do we got for the people tonight?
Yeah, I'll start here, and Aaron, I'll give you a chance to jump in on this 6 o'clock game here, the 7 o'clock Eastern game. Seattle at the Devils. Boy, I tell you, the Devils, man, they've rough go. And Jack Hughes really hasn't been doing a whole lot. Heischer's kind of been carrying him a little bit. Bratt's starting to heat up, but hell, they wanted a healthy scratch Dougie Hamilton. I think they did, which is really bad. Now he's probably on the trade block. But in Seattle, they've actually been going pretty good, So I'm not really sure who's going to win this game tonight, but I really like a bunch of props, honestly. I got Eberle scoring a goal. He's been shooting a lot lately. He's actually got 4 goals in the last 7 games, I believe, something like that. Matty Beniers has actually been putting the puck in the back of the net too. I like him. Speaking of Jesper Bratt, over 2.5 shots on goal. Bratt is now starting to pick it up. He's starting to get his act together. He's just been really frustrating player this year. Hell, I've been benching him in our listeners league. That's as bad as it's been. But then again, my team's so dominant, I can afford to bench him if I want to, to send a message. Other teams may not have that luxury. I do. And then Evi Tolvanen for the Seattle Kraken. You can get him, I think, over 1.5 shots on goal, like at a -110. He's actually been covering that a lot of late. I went back and checked. I think it's 8 out of the last 10 and 9 out of the last 11. He's covered over 1.5, and that's like a -110 tonight. And this is a Devils team that really, again, isn't that great. They don't play that great of defense. The goaltending subject. So I like those. Aaron, what do you like for the Seattle, that New Jersey Devils? Do you have anything?
Yeah, ironically, it was just I have Eberle. I'm a little worse on the odds, though. I've got him as just a point, but same points you made. He's played very well. Seattle's played their way into a playoff spot as we stand today, which I kind of slept on them. Didn't even know it. Looked at the standings maybe last week. I'm like, God, the Kraken, what's going on here? I don't catch many games. I just, it reminds me of the Islanders of last year before they had Schaefer, just a game that I normally avoid when they come up. Just, I don't know why, whatever. But they've been quietly playing very well, and Eberle he's been great. They put the C on his sweater. He's been playing great. So I got him at a point. I rolled that into a parlay, but out of that game, that's the one bet I like because, it's impossible for me to say who's, I don't know who's going to win. It's a toss-up. As impressed as I've been with Seattle, I've been equally unimpressed. So, but to your point on the Devils are a mess, a train wreck. So, yeah, probably Kraken's going to win, but I'm not confident enough to put anything on that.
Hey JT, I do follow a guy and actually listen to another podcast, a betting podcast, where if they wanted to put like what they call like a bargain bin special, um, the Devils are a really good first period team, and I guess they've had actually the Seattle's number in the first period of late. You can parlay the Devils puck line in the first period, which again, this is just it's a bargain bin special they call it. So basically, it's a lotto pick we call it, and then actually crack it on the money line. You can get that at plus 1,700. So for the Devils to actually come out hot in the first period, actually be up with 2 goals, and then for them to choke at the lead, which they're really great. I think Markstrom's going tonight. And he's just he's no good. So JT, didn't you drop him in a couple leagues? Like he's no good. So.
I had him in our home league. I also had him in listeners league, and I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this freaking bum. I dropped him in all those leagues. I went in and I was like, you know what? Instead of messing with him, I'm better off getting my starting goalie, getting his backup, and just playing him on his off nights. So that's what I started doing. I was like, he's playing so bad. I was like, I might as well just cover myself with a backup and make sure I have a guy that's playing each night. He had been so rough. And Gibson, after that rough start, was out there in a couple leagues, so I went and grabbed Gibson instead because he's been playing well. The Red Wings have been tearing it up. So I was like, why am I holding on to this guy? So yeah, I dropped him in quite a few leagues, and at some point, I have my guys, and my guys I'll hold on and give a lot of chances to. But if you're not my guy, I don't care. You're gone. So Markson's not my guy. He's gone. I'm never looking back on him again. He would have to play amazing for me to get back in on him.
Hey, JT, you mentioned the Wings there, and obviously your team, but tell us a little bit about Fedorov. They retired a number, and he had some really great comments during the announcement there, and I just thought it was pretty touching. It was pretty awesome, and for a guy that vaguely remembers actually watching Fedorov play all the time, because I wasn't a Wings fan. I didn't watch him play all the time, but just knowing how great he was. I loved him in NHL like 94. He was awesome.
I was just making this comment the other day on Twitter. NHL 94 Fedorov was lightning fast. Yeah. He was literally like McDavid now. He was so fast on that game. You felt like you were just running past people in that game. Everybody else was on the ice and he was sprinting he was sprinting past people. So great. One of the reasons I was a big Fedorov fan was I grew up as a kid. NHL 94 was my favorite game. I love the Wings in that game. Yzerman and Fedorov were 2 favorite players. Later on when you got, in the distance, when you started being able to make your own guys, I would always make myself and put myself on the Wings. But I wasn't ballsy enough to put myself on line 1 or 2. I made myself good enough and made myself a rookie, and I would play the third line center behind those 2 guys. I was like, I can't get beat with them. They're all timers. So I'd always make myself a rookie and make myself a third liner, and I'd play either on the third line or the check line.
The check line.
On those. So that's what I'd always do. But dude, Fedorov, the amazing thing about Fedorov, if you've never watched the documentary about the Russian Five, it's just a great documentary about how he came over when the Wings drafted him. And for people that, we're a little bit older, but for people younger, they have no idea. But even the people a little older than us, man, there was the Iron Curtain there. You did not come over to America from Russia when you were in hockey. It was all about Russian pro hockey and the Olympic team. That's all they cared about. They didn't want any of those guys coming over. The Red Wings took a shot. They drafted Fedorov when, in all honesty, there was no guarantee they'd ever get him. He would ever play in America. They drafted him anyway, took a shot. The story of getting him over here and getting him signed and out of Russia is wild. That's what you have to watch that documentary. It's just wild. And that is really what opened the door for a lot of other Russians and foreign players was when he came over. That's kind of how they got everything started, was getting Fedorov. And man, I tell you what, he barely spoke English when he first came over too. He didn't really speak English. So getting him and the superstar he became, I remember him when they got the Nike campaign going. it was like the first big time hockey campaign we'd ever seen for a hockey player. They tried to make like Fedorov the Michael Jordan of hockey. He had the
Mhm.
Nike skates. Like the
Yeah.
coolest thing in the game the other night, they
That's
all wore
kinda
the
cool.
white skates. They all wore the white skates that he used to wear. I mean, he was everything. He had the maroon Corvette. He was dating Anna Kournikova, who was the hottest tennis player ever at the time. I mean, he was the guy, man. He was living the dream. And the fact that, and this was a stat that blew my mind, Toast, when I saw it, only the third Russian hockey player ever to have his number retired in the NHL. Third all time. A lot of great Russian hockey players. Pretty unbelievable. He's only the third guy ever. I think it was Pavel Bure and and I'm forgetting the other one. I'm jacking his. I'm gonna have to look it up. Zampanov. Gosh, I know I'm jacking it up, but he for the Stars, he's the third guy ever. So that's a
Could be Alexei Shamnov or
So it is pretty unbelievable, man. That if you missed it, go back and look it up on YouTube. Go look it up on Twitter. Like just the whole thing they did for him. The Wings did it right. It was awesome. They made all the guys, like I said, all the guys had the white skates on for him.
That's so
Great
awesome.
speech. He talked about Yzerman as like the all-time captain, like what he did for that team. Praised him, was like, hey, he's gonna bring a Stanley Cup back to Detroit as the GM. Just really talked great about him. It was an awesome night. It kind of reminded me, Toast, when you went to the Chelios.
Yeah.
Retirement. That's kind of what it felt like. It was an all-time great. And just the story about him coming over, like the world works in crazy ways, right? There's a chance that he never plays in the league and none of us ever know his name. He's a guy that's just like, oh, I heard he was an awesome Russian player back in the day, but ends up, he's going to end up most likely being a Hall of Famer. In the real, just unbelievable. It was a great thing. They almost blew the 3-0 lead. They almost soured it. They were up 3-0, gave up 3 late goals, but they got it done in overtime, won the game, saved the night. As all the Wings fans, I saw like, oh, we can't lose this game on Fedorov's night. We can't lose it. And they ended up winning it, pulling it out. It was pretty awesome. Those are the type of moments, especially for me, being someone at 45 years old, like Fedorov and Yzerman and Jeremy Roenick and Chelios. Like those were the first guys I remember like knowing actually a player, like knowing their name and like recognizing them, were those guys in like the early 90s. So it just was a really, really cool moment for young JT.
North Division.
Yeah, I remember him and that team. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome sight.
Yeah, I noted, and we can move on. I just want to give you a chance to chat about him, but I noted also that he mentioned he got pretty emotional there as well, saying that he should have never left Detroit, and that was his biggest mistake. And he goes, that was all on him. It was all him. He said nobody else's fault, his fault. And he's like, that was the biggest mistake of my career. And thought that was kind of cool. You're a wing. You're always a wing. And we'll say the same thing. We'll talk about Kane later. As much as Kane actually is settled in the Wings, he actually really has an allegiance to the Wings now and really talks highly of being a wing. He's a Blackhawk, and so we could talk about that later on too.
Yeah, let's finish up the bets here before the games go. I got on a little bit of a rant there. Let's talk about some bets, and then we're going to get into the Kaner and some other things going on. I will say I had a bet going the other night, and I will say before you guys throw in a bet, and I felt just ecstatic about this bet. I thought it was a money maker for sure. I had a 4-pick parlay on Monday night, plus 1,031. This thing felt like a gimme. I was so pumped about it, and I just missed. I had Alex DeBrincat goal, anytime goal. Bam, knocked that out early. I was like, bam. Nikita Kucherov assist. They got up like 3-0, and he didn't have anything. I was like, what the hell is going on here? He came through. No big deal. I think he ended up with 2 assists in the end. Got that. I took a really big minus 600, which I don't usually do, but I had 4 legs, so it kind of pushed it up just enough. and I took Nathan McKinnon 3+ shots. That one hit easy. The one thing that missed it, let me down, my Steelers. I had TJ Watt. I threw it in with the hockey parlay. I took TJ Watt 1 sack to make it 1,031. I thought that thing was a give me guarantee. He got one where he swiped an ankle and they gave the sack to somebody else because the guy fell forward and somebody else technically brought him down on the tackle. So he didn't get the sack. So I missed it on the sack. But I felt freaking fantastic about that one. I was upset. I just barely missed that. And then I also had another one with Wings. I had the over in that
2.5
Avalanche games, and I had but again, I had the Steelers in there. That was another great one. It was like plus 1,400, and the Steelers let me down. All the hockey ones hit. I crushed all the hockey bets, but I missed the one football bet. That's what you get. Sometimes you start betting with your heart like I do sometimes on my Steelers, and they let me down.
Well, Steelers, they crapped black shit is what they did. It's just
freaking brutal, man.
Yeah,
freaking
awful.
Brutal.
Just the shit that worries you. It was bad.
Yeah.
That was the I've been out drinking all weekend long, like 3 straight days, and all of a sudden I'm like, man, my stomach kind of hurts. Yeah, that's what's coming out of you at the end. You're like, what did I do this weekend? Then you like start thinking about like, what random late night shit did I eat? What fast food did I have? Like, oh yeah, that's a bad mix. That's what the Steelers did on Monday night. So let's get past that because that hurts. That hurts me. Any more bets we like? Anybody like any over-unders, any goals, any other props we like for these 6:30 games or this 9:00 game?
Philadelphia Buffalo here starts in 10 minutes. I probably won't drop the puck for another 20 minutes, so we got time to actually put some stuff in. But
Jersey already up 1-0.
Yeah, so there you go. That whole parlay we were talking about. Just saying. But there's a lot of time left in that game. That was a Cody Glass goal, I think. Glass is good. I think I was almost picked him tonight. He's plus 400. But he's sneaky for a goal every once in a while. I actually have him in my Dauber Cats League. So I played his ass tonight. But Buffalo, check that they're 13-2 in their last 15 games. And these two teams, I went to StatMuse, is checking them out like head to head. Man, over City. You wouldn't think that either. Philadelphia has always traditionally like to play a slow down game. Buffalo's kind of been bad, whatever. But both teams actually getting really good goaltending. I think it's Vladar. I call him Vader. And then Buffalo, UPL. They've both been really good, but traditionally the stats have said over with these teams. I mean, a lot. And then I guess recently as well, they've been over. So I like Tage Thompson goal. If I think 4 of the last 6 games, he's been shooting a ton. And part of one of my parlays, I got a Trevor Zegras goal. It's just a good price. They still got him like at plus 250. I'm like, he's their best goal scorer. Him and Konechny. So I really like that price a lot. So Aaron, what do you have for this one?
For this one, it's just one. I've just got an Alex Tuck point that came in at not great odds, but again, when you see the whole picture, I think the overall bet makes it. I mean, that bet alone, if we single it out, is a minus 175. Not great odds. Alex Tuck has put together a year. He's playing for a contract. Buffalo, what they pull off 9 or was it 10 wins in a row? Whatever, they tied the franchise record. Been playing very well of 8. Again, one of those teams that has played or is contending now for a playoff spot. All this happened after they got rid of their GM. So Alex Tuck kind of been leading the charge there. Well, he and Tage Thompson. So I'm on him for just a point. So we'll see. It's kind of conservative in all my picks, but if they all add up and they all align, it could be a nice little night for me. We'll see.
Yeah, Aaron, they won 10 in a row, and they are 13-2 in their last 15.
Yeah,
so, heck of a run for a Buffalo Sabres team that we have just complained about constantly about like, how is this team so bad? Like you look at the individual players and you're like, man, I like a lot of these guys. Why can't they seem to get it together? And they're finally getting together. 24, 16, and 4 technically sixth in the Atlantic, but like 8 games over 500 now. I mean, that looked like an impossibility, a month ago.
Yeah.
The other game starts here in 8 minutes. Puck drop probably in 15 minutes. So Ottawa at Rangers. I was shocked, guys. Like Artemi Panarin assist was only minus 122. I was like, this seems really low. I was thinking it'd be like minus 222. So assists in 7 of 10. I just think that's like the price is way too good. I'm like, that's definitely a parlay piece. Hell, if you had $1 million, just put it on there. This is a Benajak goal. He's been real hot. And then if goaltending, I wonder if is Ottawa starting Yeah, they're starting Merlinen. He's really he sucks, dude.
Yeah.
He's awful. He's really, really bad. I like a Zibanejad goal. And then the Panarin assist. Put them together too. I just think that the Rangers, they've been so bad at home, but I think this is one time where I actually think you can actually play them. And I think Ottawa played last night, didn't they? If they may be on the back-to-back.
Well, the one thing I was going to say, I don't have one together, but if you're looking for another one to throw in, I like a Jake Sanderson assist.
Yeah,
he's got an assist in 6 out of 7 games.
Perfect.
So he's been getting there. So if you want to
throw,
if you're looking like an extra leg, you want to throw something in there like Aaron just said, hey, that's minus 175, but you like tuck point and you add it with a Sanderson assist. I mean, you could get some decent odds on this. I'm going to look it up real quick here. You guys keep giving your best. I'll tell you what his assist is, but I just was looking that up. He's six out of the last 7 games. He had 6 straight games. Last game he didn't get assist, but he had 6 straight games for the last one.
I'm going to say plus 105. Just check it out. See if I'm right.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Hey, Ridley Gregg too. He's got really good deployment.
Plus 110. Plus 110.
There you go. Yeah, that's great value, man. That's a good find, JT. Ridley Gregg's on the 3rd line in Ottawa. He gets second power play, but he's shot like 22 times in the last 7 games and got a couple goals. I just think with his deployment and him shooting a lot, plus 520, I just think that's really, really good for Ridley Gregg. He's kind of like a Zetterlund type of player too. They're almost one and the same, where they'll hit. They'll actually get some blocks. They shoot the puck as well. They kind of do a little bit of everything. And Zetterlund's getting a better deployment, but I like Ridley Gregg's goal. Hell, Zetterlund's plus 400. I think that's good too.
I like Zetterlund. He's been great for me lately in a couple leagues. All right, hey guys, I'm gonna live build a parlay here right now. I'm fired up now. If that's Jake Sanderson plus 110. Toast, did you like Panarin assist? You like him point?
Yeah. I think an assist.
Assist is minus 145. I like that.
I thought it at 1 plus.
Aaron, you're going. You said tuck point.
Yep, point for Alex Tuck. That is great.
I like that. Let's jump on that. That's 1 point is minus 165. So a little bit better odds than you saw earlier there on DraftKings. So right now, just those 3. I've got it plus 417. Give me, you know me, I can't just go 3. I got to add 4. So give me one more. Give me one more prop you guys like in here. I want to kick this thing up to a 4 pick 'em.
Yeah. So, Aaron, do you like anything else in Ottawa Rangers before we move on to the night game, the 10 o'clock game?
No, other than what you already said. I mean, if I were to pick, I'd go with a Trocheck point just because the goaltending is the NHL worst at an .869 save percentage for the collective. Yeah, that's like us playing, literally, like us. The 3 goaltenders between us for the Senators, we could do at .869.
Is that us, Aaron, like all stacked on top of one another?
Yeah. We're all in the net at the same time.
Just lay us there. Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
but still, we could play. But I what I like better than that, I went with the Jack Eichel point. It's in the later game, but if we're looking for a 4-leg, let's see if we get our 3.
Give it to me,
and then let's we'll at least have a decision to make then if we want to cash out. But Jack Eichel, it's Team USA. We're getting ready for the Olympics. It's a warm-up game. I'm all on his.
I love it. Hey, it's minus 290, but you throw that in, that kicks it up to 595. I'm all over that.
I like it.
595 on that. I'm in.
Well, and Eichel's on a point streak. I'm just looking at his card right here. He has points in the last 10 games. It may be longer. So he's been on a goal streak. He's got 4 goals in the last 3 games. Hell, JT, I mean, you may even get a little bit greedy. I know it's at LA. I know it's actually on the road, right? So I know that it worries everybody. You could put him for 2 points, or what you could do, which I like this better.
2
get him for
points,
a point, but just get him for 1 point, Eichel, and also go ahead and get him for over 2.5 or over 3.5 shots on goal.
All right, yeah, because 2 points is plus 175 instead of minus 290. That makes a huge difference. If you go 2 points instead of 1 for him, you change that around. All of a sudden, that switches up big time.
Yeah, I would go with it instead of maybe 2 points if you're like, I don't know, especially on the road or whatnot. And Kemper's been pretty good. I think he's actually playing tonight. I have him, and Kemper's been a formidable goalie. But this is like a draw game for me. It's like a written draw all over. I just think it could go overtime. And you can get the overtime at like plus 300, I'm sure. But you may go Eichel shots on goal. And last time out, he actually had 7. Previous time for that 4. Previous time for that 4 as well. And then before that 3. So if you really just want to maybe throw 2.5 shots I know it's only going to be like minus 300, but that may prop it up a little bit more, and that may be safer than the 2 points. So he's been shooting a lot.
Not getting this in quick enough. They're trying to take my tuck point away. They're not letting me bet it.
They're trying to F
garbage?
You. Yeah. You know why? Because the game's getting ready to start.
They just took it down. They're only giving me goal score. They're not that is garbage.
I hate when that happens.
All right, so here's what I'm doing. I'm doing the 2 points for Eichel to make it 785 on a 3 pick. Then, since I can't get since they're not letting me get tuck in there.
No,
25 wins you 221. I'm in on that. I'm getting the 2 on Eichel. Oh, that's frustrating. I missed it by right as I was putting it in. I was trying to decide between 1 and 2 points. They closed the props on the Buffalo Philly game. Annoying.
Yeah.
Annoying.
My parlay of the day is I've been doing these lotto picks. One hit their night. I actually had a big hit. I had a $4 to actually win 258, and it hit. I'm like 283 actually, but anyway, that was awesome. Tonight I'm going with a 4-leg goal parlay plus 12,580. But the crazy thing is, I was able to, when you go for 4 guys, you can really get a bunch of plus 200s, a bunch of plus 210s. So then you're getting really good goal scorers, and you get them on the road, and actually they've been on a hot streak, and you can actually put together a really, really good one. It's just what you really hope is 3 of them actually hit, and you go into the late game, right? So then you have the cash out option and all that.
If you're a parlay fiend like I am, that fourth one, now it really hurts your odds if you look at it like hitting that 4th one.
Oh, sure.
I'm Mr. 3 for 4. I go 3 for 4.
But the 4th
literally like 75-80% of the time. But that 4th bet just cranks your odds up. It really does. And like Toast, like you said, instead of taking a bunch of guys, 3 guys at plus 400, you could take 4 guys at plus 200, and it's about the same odds or better once you do that. So that's always the tough one for me. That's why I said I always like that 4th. I like that 4th one because it just really cranks the odds up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my 4-leg goal parlay, and I'll rank them in order of confidence. I got Eberle. I just really feel really good about Eberle here versus the Devils tonight. Devils are up 1-0 right now on that Cody Glass goal.
1-1. It's 1-1.
1-1. I don't even know. I don't know who scored.
I'll pull it up right now. Kraken just scored.
Adam Larson was probably like plus 1,100 to get a goal. But I like Eberle, and I like Zibanejad. And again, Ottawa's goaltending, as Aaron said, a .869, just worse in the league. Zibanejad has been hot. Now I got Tomas Hertl. Hertl's actually got goals, and again, a lot of goals of late. He's really, really coming along, and then Trevor Zegras as well. So you got 4 household names, 4 guys that it wouldn't shock you at all if any of them scored. And to get 4 of those guys at almost plus 1,300, I did a $4 bet to actually win 512. So I hit one of these last night or 2 nights ago. I usually hit 3 or 4 of these a year. I feel pretty good about it. So if Eberle can actually go, then I'll actually feel really okay. Maybe this is the night.
The crazy thing about that Rangers Senators game, if you're looking at betting a game over under, obviously, like you said, the goaltending's been terrible. So maybe take the over 6.5. Rangers are actually plus 102 at home in that game, minus 1 for the Senators, and they're so bad at home. But it's like literally both those teams are pretty even. So
Yeah.
you could throw if you want to throw, you could take Sabres money line over in the Ottawa Rangers game and the Golden Knights on the road in a 3-pick parlay plus 535.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, hell, if the Rangers are going to win this game, you got to feel like they're going to run away and actually just pile it on. At some point, that has to happen. I'd almost go with the Rangers on a puck line tonight. I mean, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it.
Yep, you can do it. It's plus 102, or like I said, it's Rangers plus 102 or Senators. Or if you want to go the over is plus 102 as well. So both of those are pretty right on. And the Senators are minus 122 money line. Under is minus 122 as well.
Nice.
All right, hey, any other bets anybody's got? Are we good to move on?
We're good to move on.
All right, let's go. Hey, let's go around the ice.
Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game.
All right, we let's talk about a little bit what's going on in the league. We'll wait till Toast jumps back in here before we he's back. I was gonna bring it up so we had plenty of time to talk about it. A big one the other night, I did see some people talking smack, and I actually thought it was ridiculous. Patrick Kane got his 500th goal. It wasn't empty netters. They pulled the goalie right as the puck was stolen, and he hit it. It was a freaking snipe from deep. But still, I saw somebody like, oh, that's the way you get your goal. And garbage. Garbage is 500 goals. I don't care how you freaking get them.
Well, he had 2 that night.
Goals. I know. It's they're acting like it was like he just slopped his way to it. It's total garbage. But Toes, let's talk about this. I mean, we've talked about it in the past, but I mean, Patrick Kane, he's right there in the talk for the best American-born player of all time. Heck of a career with the Blackhawks. Obviously, Blackhawks fans would love to have him still there. It was one of those situations they had to move everybody as the team was ready to break it down, save money, and total rebuild. Had to move along. Now he's on the wings. Obviously, the rival, hate to see it, but hey, Chelios kind of had the same situation. Obviously, he's still a Blackhawk at heart. Man, let's just talk about that. Just unbelievable. I mean, what a career for Kaner. The hip surgery, everybody thought he was done. He's actually put together some pretty decent seasons, hasn't he?
Yeah, and Aaron, I'm going to give Aaron a bunch of time to talk about Kaner as well. I mean, given that him and I are a huge Blackhawks fan, then JT, you kind of got to reap the rewards of having Kaner on the back end. Let's forget he was a Ranger briefly, right? Like, that didn't work out. It's not that he didn't play. He played fine.
That was a play. They basically traded him for the playoffs. And
yeah, it was a loan, whatever. And the Hawks actually did really well in the picks. I think he got a 2nd-round pick in that. But Kane's a Blackhawk for life. He'll have a statue. And Aaron, I'm going to ask you a couple questions here soon, just because I want to see what your thoughts are as well. But you know, you always think with the all-time greats, they come through in the playoffs, right? And if I remember right, I think he actually did have one Conn Smythe. Pretty sure he had one. He had an MVP, 3 cups. He'd do a spinorama. He'd do that all the time. A couple goals that I remember that just stuck out to me were always, I talk about the big players actually make the big goals in the big moments, and that's what he did. That 2010 goal, I think it was Michael Leighton that was actually in goal.
Yeah.
And the game, it was game 6 at Philadelphia. I'm pretty sure it was game 6. And he's the only one in the building that knew he scored. Mm-hmm. And he's on the left wing there, and actually a really tough angle shot, and just kind of flips the puck at the net. And when I say flipped it at the net, he found it right on the top left-hand corner there, and it went in. And nobody really knew what to do. I'm sitting here watching out. I'm living, JT. I'm living kind of by you over there, just south of 13 acres, and I'm actually watching the game there, in a yellow house there. And I'd been kind of a big Blackhawks fan for a while, but I had really started really closely in 2007 when they started getting the 1st-round picks of Toews and Kane, and then they were kind of tied to the hip there. But when he actually hit that goal, and you see his hands, kind of going like this, and he's skating down the ice,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking when they do his statue outside United Center, it's going to be this. They're going to have to recreate that motion where he's actually going his hands like this, shaking them like that with his gloves there, having one skate up in the air. Like that would be the best statue for him because for me, that's what I remember him as. And he was only third, fourth year in the league then.
Yeah.
And then the other goal, of course, is when the one that actually buried it in the 2015 Cup Finals. I think I had to go back and see who the goalie was for that. I couldn't remember. It was Ben Bishop. I think Bishop actually played for Dallas Stars as well for a bit, and but that was at United Center there, which makes it super sweet. But he gets a pass from Brad Richards, and he actually just buries one. And that was one where that sealed it. So those two, and there's so many, right? You got 500. And there's so many huge goals, but those are the two that will stick out for me. And that 2010 one, that's the one. That's the one. Aaron, do you have any, Aaron, that stick out for you? I got some more stuff I want to talk about with Kane, but I want to pass it over to you to let you chat about him a little bit.
Yeah, in terms of goals, like standalone goals, no, that's the only one that really stands out is the 2010. Same reason. I mean, at the time I was living in Florida, so I was watching our first our first kid, our oldest daughter. So she was just a little one, but was there with me watching it. But yeah, it was just one of those things. So that probably stands out. The celebrations, the showmanship, he's Showtime, the Heartbreaker, all that stuff. You still see to this day in Detroit. But for me, the thing that stands out, again, the Conn Smythe was I think it was the middle.
2013.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say real quick as Aaron's going here, just so we throw it out there. So 2018 won the Calder Memorial Trophy, Rookie of the Year, 3-time champion 2010, 2013, 2015. In that 2013 season, he won the Conn Smythe.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, he was the first American-born player to win the Hart Memorial Trophy as the most valuable player.
2016.
And then also won the Art Ross Trophy as a scoring champion 2015, 2016. Won those the same season. 2010s was the leading scorer in the 2010s and was named the 100 greatest NHL players of all time. He was also the youngest American-born player ever to reach 1,000 career regular season points. So that was back in 2020, and currently ranks second behind only Mike Modano as a career-leading point scorer in American-born players.
Well,
yeah. I mean, and again, what stands out for me for Kane, I remember him kind of sneaking that first overall pick. They'd already picked Taves the year before. He was a third pick, and then they got the lottery pick, which odds weren't not in their favor to get the Kane. But he was, and I don't even think he was clear number one overall then. But the thing about him or two things really, that above all goals and all the hardware that he's taken home, and I wouldn't say it outshines the Stanley Cups. Nothing outshines that, but he's a smaller guy. So, I think on paper it says 5'10". He's every bit of 5'8", 5'9", but that's typically what'll happen when you're, every inch counts when that's when you're under 6 feet. But so that kind of stands out, shows that the skill, the hands, the skating ability is tremendous, the creativity is tremendous, but more the work ethic. But what stands out above all that? So it's, like I said, two things: the stature, that hey, these, and he's kind of set the precedent for that. Whether it's Johnny Gaudreau, it's Cole Caulfield, modern day. It's I mean, you could go on and on. Alex DeBrincat, all these guys that can score at an elite level. He kind of is the not only the American-born player, but he's also the kind of champion of that brought that back to the game, because the game was trending towards a bigger player. We were still in just coming out of the Eric Lindros era, the Mark Recchi's, the huge immobile forwards.
Yeah, everybody wanted the 6'6", like 215, 220 guy. He's like the
Power
one guy.
forward.
I always think about him, Aaron, as you're going on this. I always think about him as like, he's the one guy you could be hanging out next to at the bar, getting a beer, and you would never be like, oh, that guy's a professional athlete.
Right.
He's like the normal guy. He's the normal everyday size of like a kid who's a really good athlete on your, like in high school but was like, this guy's never going to make it. He's like a just average size guy. You see him and you're just like, man, the fact that he's had the career he is, the size he is, I agree with you, man. It's just like he's one of those guys you're like, it's amazing what he did.
Yeah.
Being just a normal sized guy, something you look at, you never look at him and be like, oh, that's a pro athlete. You just wouldn't see it from the outside.
Yeah, and he kind of innovated in a way. He innovated how to spin out of a hit. You don't quite get, because the hits that hurt the most, other than the open ice hits, are kind of the rub out hits where you're rubbing your hips up on those boards, and for him at his stature, that's right about you hit the the end of your hip or whatever, and oh boy, and he had the hip problems, as we know, that since has come out on the other side of that, but to the point you couldn't hit him. Oh, go ahead and try. Hey, these big lumbering ogres, go ahead and try. You're not going to catch him. You're not going to find him. So he jumped out of that. That stands out. But the number one thing that stands out is how he changed his defensive game. He never back checked a day in his life when he first came into the league. Probably a lot of good coaching. You can credit Coach Q to this. They interviewed Coach Q a couple nights on, I think it was the ESPN broadcast, and he kind of gave a shout out. But he was a tremendous back checker when he played for the Hawks. Still is. You still see that too on the wings. I still watch that. He's still back checking and doing a good job of that. So he's not just standing, hanging out at the blue line, waiting for a pass like Brett Hull used to do. He's playing hard. He's going a hard 45 and getting off the ice just like a top line lead by example. Hey, this whole time I was south of the center line. I was playing defensive zone. We never got a breakout. That's okay. I'll have a shift or two like that. So he's not afraid to do that. Some of those guys, those flashy, those scorers, those types of guys, all they want to do is get that pass, get that goal, showboat a little bit. He turned his game around, and because of that, they won, multiple cups. Huge, if not the biggest piece of those cups was him. So, I love it. I love it. He'll eclipse everybody and be the number one U.S. player when it's all said and done, in my opinion.
Well, and I'll piggyback on that a little bit more, Aaron, because this is our time to just kind of gush Patrick Kane, and that's what we want to do.
Double wrister, yeah.
Yeah, a couple more things. When I was at the Chelios retirement game, that was Kane's time. They actually come back, first time back to United Center as a Red Wing there. He was the only one that actually stayed. He stayed late on the bench, actually watched his entire speech, and it came from Chelios's lips. He said, because Chelios, American born and everything else, and he said it. Make no mistake about it. He goes, Patrick Kane will go down as the number one U.S. born player of all time. That is a given. And come from Chelios, that's from a Blackhawks fan. That's like, hey, you take care of your family, right? And that's what he did. And Kane, he actually goes and gets the breakaway game winner in OT and says that's
that was
showtime.
Yeah.
And Chelios said, "Don't be going to steal my thunder tonight." And what did he do? He did it. But one of the things that really got me about Kane too is you talk about all-time greats, and make no doubt about it, Kane actually, like you said, Aaron, had a high motor. He really was a winner, right? But at the same time, he really fouled statistics. He's really a student of the game. No one worked harder in their career. First guy on the ice, last guy off the ice in practice. You talk about when they had to hire Bedard skates when he actually first broke his jaw as a rookie and stuff, and because he was going to be on ice, you couldn't get Kane off the ice. You cannot. So that leading by example is unbelievable. And I think that's what Kane did not have a major ego. And when I say that is Kane didn't wear the A on his sweater until very late in his career. Yeah. He had no letter on his sweater. I mean, think about that. Most guys, that would chat their ass a little bit. Not with him. He was all about winning. All about winning cups, 3 and 6 years, a dynasty run from 2009 to 2016. Just one of the greatest teams that actually ever was assembled and stuff. And he never wore a letter on his jersey. And like you said, he's probably the most important piece in all those teams, right? That just says a lot for me. I mean, and from a guy who actually matured a lot in his career. When he was a young rookie or young guy, Remember all the Rocky
I know,
stuff
I
off
know.
the ice, you know?
It was
like,
well, it was funny. Yeah, it was funny when JT said, "Oh, he's just a regular guy at the bar." Yeah, there's videos that show him being a
Oh,
He
regular
was
guy
a
at the
regular
bar.
guy at the bar. He
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
hanging out, having a good time. I mean, he was that dude. You're like, shit, I just ran into an NHL
Yeah,
player.
yeah.
yeah,
He was
the
Madison.
weekends,
Yeah,
the weekends
yeah.
at Madison, Wisconsin, and actually all the
Yes.
pictures, and then him and his brother actually get in a fight, and he actually
Beating up
assaults
the
a cab driver, you know, before he's from in Buffalo, you know. But so you would be like, gosh, this guy's just a loose cannon. He doesn't really know how to work hard. Nobody worked harder, and his maturity really showed. You know, once he got into the 2012, 2013, and on, like just a mature guy. You know, Taves was the captain of that team. And Taves and Kane, you know, right, the reunion of them actually happened recently. And JT, you actually mentioned it. Kane, Taves, and Duncan Keith all named to NHL 100 back in 2017 when they actually did it by the NHL. That takes a lot of pride considering at the time they'd won their cups, right? And they're actually still kind of in a prime of their career. They still had actually a lot of years to go left there, and to be able to be named top 100 that time just shows what they did. But you talk about how important Kane is. The last thing I'll mention, Alex DeBrincat, Artemi Panarin, Dylan Strome, he made those guys. So, I mean, they go on and they're actually having great careers, especially DeBrincat and Panarin. They're household names. He made them. Without Patrick Kane, they're not who they are. They're not. So, I mean, just the impact he's actually had. So, congratulations, Kaner, man, 500.
Couple of things to close out my thing on Patrick Kane. I don't know if this is going to show up if you can see this, but as you guys know, I think I got a glare on it, but it's not really focusing. Maybe a little bit better, but I'm not this. As you know, I buy and sell hockey cards, so not focused on the players, but the little guy in the Buffalo jersey there. That's actually Kane. Patrick Kane when he was a kid.
In the back, in the
the
stands?
background.
Oh,
on
I can
this
see it.
card.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's Kane. I'll have to show it to you in live. The picture doesn't do it justice, but this
That's
is kind of
awesome.
a well-known card in the hockey community because it's technically his first hockey card. It's the first one he appears on, and then Upper Deck did this one for the night you were there, Toast. That was the thank you. They came out
Yes.
with this one where they had him at the United Center, and then another one that's going to you, Toast, at some point. The Central Red Army, just because of your Russian connection. So got a few of them coming, but those two Kaner cards, I came across that one where he was a kid. That's an all timer right there,
That's
where he's
awesome.
just like. And I don't know who found it. You know, somebody just thumbing through old junk wax era cards. What? That looks like Patrick Kane. Sure enough, it was, and he's confirmed it. He's actually said, "Yeah, that's me and my dad going to a game." But anyway, kind of cool story. Full
That's
circle on
awesome.
him.
That is awesome.
Nice. That's great. So you, unless you guys have anything else, we're gonna
Let's move on to our last segment.
Yeah,
here.
I'm going to do a quick listener
yeah.
league update, and then we're going to talk some trade possibilities. Here we go.
It's Weekend Update with Colin Jost and Michael Che.
So in our listeners league, just a little quick update here on the standings. Toast, you got somebody tied with you up top. King McCarr, 11-3, tied with Toast at 11-3, top of the league. Sitting, we've got a three-way tie for third. I blew it last week. I lost in a close one. I won a close one the week before, lost a close one last week, dropped me to 9-5. I'm really mad. I could have clear cut taken third place by myself, but now I'm 9-5, tied with Scott DeWitt and Jeff Dealer. We're all 9-5, so three of us tied there. Right behind us, Aaron at 8-6, also tied with Lillian Roche, 8-6 as well. So there's 6. Looking at the playoffs right now, playoff percentages 32 and 46%, but you're in the mix. You're in the mix there to make the playoffs still. So Aaron's chance to get a win this week and jump in. And then just behind you guys, a game back, is PJ and B Douglas at 7-7 each. And then at the bottom of the group, eliminated. I'm sorry to say it, guys, eliminated from playoff contention. Jorge at 4-10. James Bernard at 1-13, and Hollerjano, one of my guys from he jumped in late, didn't draft a team. So even though they're 0-14, I don't feel I feel bad for him, but I understand it wasn't his team. He was nice. He took it over, tried to help us out after the draft. They go 0-14. So still a little bit of a race down the end. And to kind of finish out the show,
I will say Scott DeWitt there, winner of 6 in a row.
He's been crushing. He beat me.
9-5.
Beat me to get back up. He's been on a heck of a tear lately. Great job by Scott. His Sin Box Bangers, which I love that freaking name. Great name. He's in the mix, so we're all at 9-5. So we've got ourselves a competitive league. Now let's talk some fantasy hockey and possible trades.
But hey, as they say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
So Aaron sent me out a banger of a trade in our home league. Toast hasn't heard this trade yet.
Let me write this down.
I sent it to Gail. I sent it to your brother Gail. He immediately, the second I posted that Aaron had sent it to me, Gail, I bet you it wasn't a minute later, sent me a text. Was like, "What's the trade? Question mark, question mark, question mark." Like, wanted to see it. So I sent him a screenshot of the trade. So here's what we're talking about. Now, we'll talk about context here in a minute, but let's just throw the trade out, Toast, as the one guy not involved in this. Okay. So Aaron offered me up. He wants my guy, my kingmaker. He wants Nathan MacKinnon, the absolute stud, averaging over 7 points a game in the league, trying to get the big dog from me. Now, Toast, if you remember long time ago, before we went to a dynasty league, when we were still a keepers league, I traded Nathan MacKinnon once before. I totally regretted it when I did it. I traded him 1 year as a hey, I'm trading you this year, but he goes back to me after the season. Like, I don't even know if it was legal, but we didn't have rules like that. So I was like, I'll trade you for the postseason, but he comes back to me after the year and you give me 2 picks, in the 3rd and 5th round. So it was like a keeper league. We were kind of, playing loose and fast with some trading options. So I did trade him once before. For MacKinnon, Aaron has offered me up Leonard from Washington, the rookie, Leo Carlson, which Aaron knows my love for the Swedes. So Leo Carlson in the deal. Also, is it Sordif? Is that how you say it? Sordif or Sordif?
Sordif. From
Washington, another rookie. He's offered me those and a 2nd round pick from Long Live the Note, who I think is in the playoff hunt right now. So it'd be probably a later second. He's offered me those 3 for MacKinnon. So think about that, Toast. Leonard, Carlson, Sordif. Just for people who don't understand the scoring in our league, it's a bangers league. I will give you what these guys are averaging at the moment, just to make it a little more sense. So right now, Leonard's averaging 3.4 points a game. Carlson, he's injured at the moment, but averaging 4.06 points a game. Sordif, also a rookie, so another young guy. We do have a minor league squad in this league where you can move guys up and down. 10 guys in the minors we can use? Up to, what was it, Toast, 80 games? Is it 80 games?
82 games. Yep.
82 games that we get him in the minor. He's averaging 2.59 points, and then the 2nd round pick for MacKinnon, who currently averaging 7.2 points a game in our league. So obviously, this is a big dog trade. If you go in and you look at the scoring for the season, and you bring up everybody total, MacKinnon right now, number 1 scorer in the entire league at 7.2 points a game. Number 2, Connor McDavid at 6.3. Celebrini, absolute stud, 6.03 as number 3. Mikko Rantanen, 5.32. Draisaitl, 5.2. Tom Wilson, 5.9. He's a banger. And 5.46 for Sherwood. And then Kucherov, 5.76, and Jason Robinson's 5.09. So just to give you an idea, in our league, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys are averaging over 5 points a game. 2 guys averaging over 6 points a game. Nathan McKinnon, right now, number 1 overall, over 7 points a game.
Wow. Couple thoughts
I'm
here.
also on the verge. I'm outside looking into the playoffs. I did have the number 1 pick last year in this league. I've been pretty injury heavy, so I'm going to be picking fairly high again. Right now, I'm outside looking in. The chances of me making the playoffs are not great. I think our 6th spot is points, right, Toast? Is overall
Yes.
points. Right now, I think I'm quite a bit behind. I think it's Gale. I think Gale's beat me in points. Let me pull it up real quick. Right now, I'm in 7th spot, so I'm 1 spot out of the playoffs. But Gale's in front of me, and he has 300 points more than me. So I would have to make a monster move. Even though the only thing is I could get in front of him. I'm only 1 game behind him, but I'd have to catch Long Live the Note, who's 2 games in front of me, because I'm so far back in points. I need to probably swing my way up into that 5th seed. So it's going to be real rough. I need to make a huge run, or I'm probably missing the playoffs again. I thought it was a good effort for Aaron. This is a lot for me to give up McKinnon here. I almost feel like I need more here, Toast. As the one guy not involved in this trade, give us your thoughts.
Well, I'm not going to say whether or not I think you're giving up too much or not enough or whatever. What I will say is, Aaron, if you could pull this off to have McDavid and McKinnon, that's a hell of a thing. I mean, wow. I mean, I haven't seen that in our previous league, like this. Those two-headed monster there. That'd be amazing. So going back some previous trades, and I want your guys' opinion on whether or not these previous trades were too much to give up, and then maybe compare it to this offer here. And again, because I don't want to impede any trade. Just want to actually say what's been out there, and maybe we could say, yeah, that was too much previously. This one's right in the sweet spot. JT, earlier in the season, you actually got Kyle Connor, and actually Gale gave you Nico Hischier and Drake Batherson.
I got Kyle Connor. I gave up Batherson.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you gave up Batherson and Hischier, and also a number 1 pick to actually to get Kyle Connor. Now
probably
Kyle Connor
is
is
burning
not
me because I'm not going to end up making the playoffs. At that point in time, I think I was 3rd in the league. I've gone through some bunch of injuries and fallen. So at this point, I'm like, ooh, that could end up burning me because my end pick could end up being a top 4 or 5 pick.
Yeah, so the more I look at this here, I'm just looking at past trades here. Now Kyle Connor's nowhere close to the player Nathan McKinnon is, right? Kyle Connor's probably a top 20 player in any format. Maybe too much was given up, but would you rather actually have? And I see Sordif as kind of like a throw-in, right? He's overperforming, but he's been great, right? He's young, everything else, but I don't know. He could be a throw-in, right? So you're really looking at like who's the players again?
Leo Carlson, Sordif, and Leonard for Washington.
So you got Carlson and Leonard, right?
Yeah.
Currently
and combined,
two young guys, right?
Combined,
20-year-olds.
They have about 300 points combined between them. McKinnon has 324 right now. So if you actually added the points up, technically, and this is why I was trying to explain the points per game for people. If you added the points up on the year right now, you have about 415 points between the 3 guys plus the 2nd round pick. McKinnon 324. So technically you're getting more points, but obviously that's roster spots. Yeah, it's points per point per game. Kind of it's working. So the points, if you're just looking at points, somewhere in that mix. But again, you have to go long-term players, all that. So yeah, go ahead, Toast.
Yeah, it comes down to who's established and what players may do. And I think Carlson, of course, has established himself. Like he's gonna be the real deal, right? Like he's really good. I know he's injured right now. They had a little bit of a fall there in Anaheim. They've kind of fell on hard times, but nevertheless, like he's a real deal. All I'll say is JT is to get Kyle Connor, you gave up more than Aaron be giving up, in my opinion, to get McKinnon. Maybe that was just a bad trade on your part. I don't know. But
yeah, if I would, if I would go back, if I went back and looked at that trade, I would have probably still done the trade, but I would have taken away the first. Like the first was too much for me, especially with me now looking at it. At the time I made the trade, I would think I was third in the league. It was early on in the season, so I was like, "Oh, I'm going to make the Kyle Connor trade. I'm going to go for it." And then my team, I started getting injuries. Hellebuck, my goalie, who had been just scoring me a ton of points, got hurt. All of a sudden, I started getting injuries there, and I went through a little bit of a losing streak and dropped. If I would have realized at this point in the season that I would be on the outside in looking at the playoffs, I probably would not have traded that first round pick. I would have definitely held. I would have held harder onto that pick. I also like, again, I talk about this all the time. Kyle Connor's one of my guys. He was one of my keepers forever in this league before we turned into Dynasty. So that also swung me just a bit in the trade because I like him. I wanted him back on my team. I was actually kind of pissed when I didn't get him in the draft originally. So I think that's why he kind of went back to me. But if I went back and then I think now looking back, I definitely overpaid the first round pick for sure. Those other two guys are good. We've talked about it. When he's on, he's on. But when he's hurt, you're just like, he's killing you when he's not on the ice. So I would have definitely taken back the first here. So I like Leo Carlsson. I like that. I almost think I need another bigger impact player if I was going to make this thing happen. I mean,
well, and let me say as well. Like McDavid and McKinnon. And Aaron, as you know, and that would be amazing to have both. I mean, it'd be amazing. They are in a league of their own. It's those two guys. Everybody else is in different leagues. They are in that first tier by themselves, and honestly, it's not close. Not close. They are in a league of their own. The next tier down is Nikita Kucherov, and he's kind of in that next one down with like Pasternak and like Matthews and everything else. So, and Kucherov arguably could be in a tier of his own there, but not with McDavid and McKinnon. So earlier in the season, I also gave up Matvei Michkov, Clayton Keller, and Mackenzie Blackwood for Nikita Kucherov and what could be the number one pick coming up this 2026 draft. I would also say compared to this offer, for me anyway, I could have given up too much, right? Like, did I overpay? And that's what I want you guys to talk about. Like, did I overpay? Maybe I did. Maybe I'm like, I just overpaid on that. Shouldn't have given all I got. But if you're trading McDavid or McKinnon, it's the same thing if I were to actually come to Aaron and say, I want McDavid. I'm going to have to come up with an unbelievable package. Unbelievable. And that's what I would just ask. Like, and this is freaking good. This is a good package. It is. But with those two guys, like, it's got to be like, holy shit, like life-changing, right? And so I'd be curious on I want to hear you guys kind of go back and forth. I'd like to see a deal be made. So, let's have it happen right here. And let's see what can happen.
The biggest thing for me, if I trade McKinnon here, I'm in full-fledged rebuild. I mean,
not really.
I'm in full-fledged.
Not really.
But here's the thing is, if you look at the rest of my team, if you look at like the top 30 scoring, if you break down our league right now, I got McKinnon, who's number one overall. My next highest scorer in the league right now is Alex DeBrincat. He is just guessing because I'm eyeballing it. He's about 20th in the league in scoring. That's my next highest score. Now, past him, you got to get way down till you get my third highest score, and guess who it is? Another Red Wing. Dylan Larkin is my next guy, and then Kyle Connor, who I traded for. So those are my top four. So I maybe have four guys in the top 40. So that's where I feel like I've got some pieces. So even though my record is not good, I think I got some pieces on my team. Injuries have definitely hurt me this year. I definitely drafted. We talked about this. I drafted Quinn Hughes too high for a bangers league. I like him a ton. He's still a really good player, really good defensive guy. But to break it down, technically Quinn Hughes, who I think I took in the second round, if I'm correct. He's getting outscored by Mike Matheson this year, if that tells you anything. So that's not good. So I definitely blew it when I took him early there. But I don't know. It is I am not totally opposed to moving McKinnon, but I feel like I have to get an absolute haul, and I'm probably going to have to get a lot of fairly younger guys because again, if not, and I love Aaron just going out there and at least offering it. I love you offering it. See it. You know, you guys get kick the tires right to see what's happening. Yeah. But if I'm giving up the number one scorer in the league, I feel like I got to be like, okay, that really changes my team. What kind of pieces am I going to replace? Especially since I effed up and got rid of my first round pick this year. That probably is now looking like a top 4 or 5 pick.
Well, real quick before you go, Aaron, I just want to say one more thing. JT, your core is Connor, DeBrincat, Larkin, Nylander, Tavares, an aging Roadman Yossi, which can still actually produce, even though he's 35. Josh Doan, Ehlers is starting to come on now. Quinn Hughes, Barkov. You have pieces. I mean, put it this way, McGlynn's a rebuild team, right?
He's
inherited a rebuild team. Like you're not a rebuild team.
Yeah,
you got Frondell. That's going to be coming up here soon.
I do like my minors. I do like Frondell. I've been able to move Danielson for the Red Wings in and out. I got Victor Eklund, who we talked about last week's show, who showed out in the World Juniors for Sweden. I got him down there. I've got some guys in the mix. I got Schaefer for Nashville, who's been solid for them this year as 22-year-old, averaging just under 3 points a game in his short time on ice this year. So I do have some guys in the minors as well.
Well, and it's the last thing I'll mention. I'm going to let you guys then have the floor. I'm sorry, I'm like sitting here trying to dominate. Apologies, but this is very interesting. Also, too, as you actually know, and this is a good thing for like all fantasy managers, just a reminder, right? Especially if you're new to fantasy. You guys know, but fantasy managers. Getting young in Dynasty is a good thing, and it also actually carries a lot of risk because the players haven't done it before. Right. So if you're actually, let's say, acquiring, 24, 25, 26-year-olds as opposed to 20, 21, 22-year-olds, well, it's less risky, right? You know what you're getting. You actually may have, in 26, you're like, well, they're going to do it for 6 more years, probably. Will we have the league in 6 years? I think so. But nevertheless, still, so you also have to weigh, what's the likelihood? What's the percentage of them actually hitting, right? How many of these are going to hit? And with those, you just don't know specifically. But again, the package being offered is really, real freaking good when it comes to a prospecting young player. But there's also that unknown, and when it's a McKinnon, So I'm just sitting here thinking couldn't fault you if you end up doing a deal, but also gonna be it's a McKinnon, So hopefully you guys can make a trade. But I'll let you guys duke it out here. I'm gonna stay right here and just watch it. I'm gonna get my popcorn out.
Yeah. And how all this came about, I was actually targeting. So I just looked at the teams, and again, so this is purely from my perspective and had not ever thought about targeting a big name, Mike McKinnon. But I was looking at some of the teams. And so another guy in our league who's out of the playoffs, Corey, that he's got Sidney Crosby. And I'm like, well, I could probably throw something together. Kind of, he waited too long for a rebuild, in my opinion. Probably should have committed to it maybe a little bit more, but doesn't have a standout like a Kucherov, like a McKinnon, like a McDavid. But Crosby's good. Well, Crosby, how many more years do we have of this? So Crosby's a little bit more of a rental. The asking price went to this level, not quite. It had nothing to do with Leo Carlson, but he wants Ryan Leonard and he wants somebody else. So I'm like, no, it's too much for Crosby. At best, I'm going to get the rest of this year, and I'm going to get the next year. Which I would love, but it's too much. It's too much. I mean, Leo Carlson in this deal is a can't miss. Ryan Leonard, you could probably debate back or forth. I think he probably peaks at a 4.0 player. Maybe, I think he's going to be, between a 3.5 and a 4-point player career. I think we've already seen that. And, I think that we're kind of at the low end of his ceiling, but his ceiling's not that high. He can sniff that thing. Probably same thing with Carlson. He's 4 points now. He might get to 4.5. I like what Anaheim is. So yes, there is some, but you go back to the put them out there together. You go head to head with McKinnon. You know what you're going to get every single game. He's a monster. He doesn't get hurt very often. You know what you're going to get. And yeah, Sordif is literally a throw in. I don't care if that's Easton Cowan. I don't care if it's Callum Ritchie. I really don't care. It's just like, hey, it's just, this is a rookie. You can sit on him in the minors, and it's house money. The first two are probably going to hit and negate the loss of them. Depends on roster spots. I don't have the luxury of the many roster spots too, so I wanted to consolidate, right? So I'm running out of minor spots. I've got some good players in the minors, but I just don't have the roster room for them. So I have to, I moved a couple of guys with Gale for picks because of this. So I am a victim of my own kind of minor league. My guys got called up. Frankie Nazari is no longer minor league eligible. There's a couple other guys that I thought, they called them up a little early. So I don't have that. I can't, and I'm not going to outright drop them. So I'm looking at consolidating some of this. So I've got a similar package out there for Matthews. I've got a similar. I've kind of cooled off on the Sidney Crosby. The other thing with Crosby, dude, I've got Letang, I've got Carlson, and I've got Brian Rust. If the Penguins get shut out, I'm losing. I'm losing not just that night. I'm losing that whole week. I cannot put all my eggs in that shitty basket of the Pittsburgh Penguins. As much as I would love to have Sid, I can't do that. So that automatically diminishes it. And maybe he can go out and get more for Sid. I don't know. But once I'm like, man, I'm really giving up a lot for Sid, for a rental. And then I thought, well, why not just go after a top 10 name? And that's kind of what brought me onto that. But it was just kind of spur of the moment. So yeah.
And Aaron, I like your style. Like honestly, if you're going to want to win these leagues, you got to take a risk, and you got to actually take you have to make splashes. And kind of like what I did recently here as well. Again, some people may be thinking, hey, I kind of overpaid on a recent transaction here that we actually end up that I end up making here with Gale, and it ended up being where I got Braden Point. I gave up Demidov, and I actually gave up Musty and Ngingli as well, right? But I got Gale's first round pick as well. So my thought is, all right, I don't really care about Musty and Ngingli. They're going to be great players, right? But we don't know. We don't know. Demidov, and my point was Demidov for Point, and I'm actually getting a first round pick back that's probably going to be top 5. I know it'll be top 5 probably. And I can replace Ngingli or Musty in a draft class that's much better. And I already have. I'm gonna have the first or second overall pick because I got Jensen's. I'm gonna have the 5th overall pick or 6th overall pick, and I got JT's early second rounder, which is gonna give me like the 11th. I can replenish all that because I got guys coming off the books of minor leaguers too soon. Yep. They're hit 82 and they're not ready. I can actually pick up guys off the waiver wire like Matt Gatcombe that actually hits, or Mark Castelic that actually hits, and they can get 3.5 points a night because of our system we actually have. So it's like there's a lot of thought that has to go into it. Like, damn, Toast gave up a lot. I can replace that pretty easy. In my mind, it was Point for Demidov. That's what it was, and I ended up getting the first round pick back. So I was fine with
that makes sense. And that's also where I'm a little hesitant to make this move because I already traded you a second and I've already got rid of my first. And so for me to turn around and be like, I'm going to get younger, get rid of the number 1 scorer in the league, and I don't have any picks early, I'm like,
but JT, you can take picks like you can take pieces like this. You're not done, right? You're collecting assets. And if you get young players, you can then actually turn around and actually then package those and really, it's all about action. You got to have action. You actually got to be active. You got to be thinking like, I only have like, honestly, 6 or 7 guys on my team. And I'm like, this is core. Everybody else is for sale, depending, right? And if I can get packages back, then I'm not thinking, oh, these guys are going to sit on my roster. They're going to be like pieces. No, that's another package to go out and actually just get better, So, put it this way, you guys end up doing a deal. I don't think anybody's going to fault you. Everybody could actually say, oh my God, I can't believe this or that or whatever. But in the end, like, it depends on what do you do with that? What do you do with what you got? Right. And like, you got to get creative and you got to work the phones. And if you don't work the phones and actually really get aggressive out there, then it's for nothing, honestly. So I had a plan that kind of stuck to it. I gave up a shit ton, but I'm better for this year. And I think I can replace. I really think this 26 draft classes, it's something, man. And you got Frondell already, JT. You're going to be good. So
Toast, you're going for the championship. There's a chance.
Balancing act. Yeah.
There's a chance Gale slides in. He can make that 6th spot. He's probably.
I think he's going
unless something crazy happens. I don't think he'll win it, but he's in the mix. So he keeps getting younger, which I still love what he's done this year. He's completely rebuilt that team for taking over a team. So I thought he's done a really good job. I thought it was another good move. He traded for Point earlier from McGlynn and turned around and moved him to you. I like it. I think it's a good move overall. Any final thoughts, guys? Is this is our 45-minute show turned into an hour and 15.
This is fun.
Let's any final thoughts here as we close the show out?
Yeah, honestly, guys, this has been great tonight. I will say we shot from the hip quite a bit tonight. A lot of it was unscripted. We try to do that a lot, but these are my kind of shows. Just get it. Let's just shit with the boys here and just shoot the shit around the room and talk about our leagues. And somebody's going to take something like this and actually apply it to their league. So keep it up. This is fun.
Yes. Good convo. Definitely.
And you guys let me know when you make a trade.
All right.
Yeah. Well, we might keep hammering away at it. We might keep hammering away and see what we do. So that's going to do us for us tonight here on Around the Ice podcast on Fantasy Frames. Stick with us here in about 45 minutes. We'll have Shoot the Gap, our IDP show recap. We're going to do our season recap, going over players, kind of our awards, who were the big dogs that carry us to championships in IDP, and maybe we'll have some tidbits for you here in the offseason of guys you should be looking to acquire and do for next year. As Toast, our home IDP league, I won my first championship this year.
Nice.
My defense came through for me. We've been over a decade in this league. I've never won it. I've been in the championship a ton of times. I've lost a million semifinals, I feel like. And this year, my team got it done. It was fantastic. So pumped about that. We'll be definitely talking about that on Shoot Your Gap as my 2 main IDP leagues. I got won my first championship in both those leagues this year. So pumped about
Congrats.
that. So make sure you check us out 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. Check us out next week. New time just on Wednesdays. So make sure to keep an eye out for us. Follow me on at JT Orange, Toast at Toast Clark, and Aaron at Titch4141 to follow us and watch the shows. But Wednesday nights here for the rest of the year. Not Tuesday nights anymore, people. Wednesday nights for Around the Ice podcast. It's been a great show. Had a lot of fun. We'll check you guys next time. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Ridley Greg, 3 points. 3 freaking points in the first. Yeah, 3 of them. All right. See you guys.
See you guys.